Hey, what's up? This is Joshua. Welcome to the daily video blog. We're still talking about graphic design-y type things. Let's see. We're gonna do this one walking today because I feel the need to burn off some excess energy rather than spend 20 minutes hunting for a novel spot to record a video. So excuse the bounciness of this particular podcast or blog or whatever it is. And I thought it was going to be blizzarding out, and I'm very disappointed that it's just a light sprinkling of snow and that it's actually warm out, but whatever. Okay, so we had a question today. It came from @PD_Tressler on Twitter, who in Minneapolis, who is not the same Pete Tressler that I went to MCAD with, also from Minneapolis, strange as that may be. So his question is, I can't have to sort of paraphrase it, but it's basically about best practices for handing off design comps to from like this sort of creative realm of designers over to production. I think this is a great question. So the basic gist of it is like you're giving a file over to a production department, a production shop, or a production artist, whatever it is, and you're having them basically get that thing ready to go out the door for the printer or for whoever's, whatever way you're gonna make it, right? So let's see. If you're a designer and you like have to work with production people and you don't do your own production, you may be doing like just shockingly stupid things. The stuff like in my current job, I do design. I handle all my own production within that, and then I do production for other people. And I've had other jobs where you sort of pinch hit around and do what needs to be done. And the stuff I've seen, like people who lay out catalogs in Illustrator and then hand it off to someone to rebuild in InDesign, or back in the day in Quark. I mean, that's the stupidest shit ever. So here's what I would say. Like, if you're a designer, here's some things. One, build the thing at full size. Your software can handle it. It is not 1998 anymore. You don't need you can build a file that's 18 feet wide by 10 feet tall, whatever that maximum is that Illustrator and InDesign can handle. Illustrator is definitely bigger, and your computer's going to be just fine. The resolution, even if you use the most crappy low resolution image, is probably going to be just fine. So if you have a really great looking image, but you have to blow it up 1400%, go for it. It's going to look fine. Seriously, like if you're older, like I am, it is a completely different world in terms of what your software can do now than what it used to be able to do. So like, just build everything at full size. One, you get out of the realm of like estimating and guesstimating sizes, and don't do that stuff that people do where they draw a box that's like a wall and they put it on an artboard in Illustrator that's a different size. Make that thing full size, so that you have like these very clean things. Like, you can't accidentally change the size of your artboard or your file in InDesign, you know what I mean? But you can super easily change the size of it in as it's just a box, you know what I mean? So full size. Let's see, what else would I say? Assume a certain level of stupidity, because you'd be shocked how often you send a packaged file to someone and then they call you back and ask you what Pantone colors it is, even though they're in the packaged file. So assume that everyone that you're handing your files off to needs to have their hand held. So make sure your files are set up in such a way that their hands are being held. Another benefit I'm going to throw out there for working full size is that you can actually, if you only have high-res art, you're going to know pretty quickly whether that art's going to cut it and whether you guys are going to have to work on like pushing the resolution or requesting better files from your clients. Like, you don't want to be constantly handing stuff off only to have the production department come right back to you and say, is this the biggest file we have? Or, hey, did you know that you cropped this file in such a way that we have to blow it up 3,000%? Are we going to be able to do that? Put more of it on your own shoulders. Make it so that your production artist is only doing the most tedious parts of it. You know what I mean? Let them be the ones to label the layers. Let them be the ones to place the final high-res art in, maybe, or not. let them be the ones to label die cuts and stuff like that. But you know, get your files in such a way that if you had to do the production, it wouldn't all of a sudden become a whole new project. Because I've definitely seen that before, like places where the client only accepts InDesign files, but the entire creative department is working in Illustrator. That's dumb. Work in the right software. You like, if you can use Illustrator, dear God, you can use InDesign. I'm trying to think of any of like my other kind of pet peeves. I think that that's the biggest one. I think if you work at full size in the right software right from the start, 90% of the problems are going to disappear. So, God, that was ranty and angry. I apologize. Oh, and hand over super clean files to your production people. So for example, let's say you have a file and it's got 4 options in it, and you show that to the client and they pick one and that one's going into production. I would advocate, before you hand it over to production, you know, do one last creative deck where you delete everything you don't need from both the deck and the files, and then have that file be the thing that you hand over to your creative department. So again, there's no questions, because we all know that we get into this thing where maybe like we have a file that's got 8 different color variations or some super subtle differences, and then we hand it over to production, and when they show us the proof, we're in a hurry and we're like, oh yeah, that looks right, and it's totally not right. And just, you know, assume I just think it's always safe to assume that everyone that you're giving stuff to is stupid, and I don't actually think they're stupid, but I just think it's healthy. I had a boss at a Target who told me that whenever you design something, make sure it's extremely clear which way is the right side up. If it's not clear, make sure it works either way. And he was completely right, because I saw stuff installed in Target stores that was obviously upside down, like shockingly obvious, but because it didn't have words on it, the person couldn't figure it out or didn't have a photo. So just kind of assume a level of stupidity and a level of like needing hand-holding. And even if you work with the most awesome together with it people on the planet, then great, your life is that much easier. And if you think about it this way, if you take care of this stuff that people routinely don't take care of, working in the right software, sending files over the correct way, labeling swatches if they need to match something, whatever that kind of stuff is, doing proper kickoff meetings with your production team where you actually have a deck of printouts and you explain step by step, so like this needs to be this and this needs to do this and blah blah blah, and explaining like, listen, this file is only this big, do you think we can push it? And that kind of stuff really helps. And the last thing that I will put out there is, when you do that, you take a greater responsibility for the details in the work, your projects are going to move through the shop more smoothly. You're going to have less need to be communicating with the production department and more just like dropping shit off to them, having a chat, and seeing them a day later or a week later, and they're going to show up with a set of prints that are perfect. And there's going to be less kind of back and forth in negotiation, which, as we've seen from this whole video series, is my major concern in life. All right, cool. If you got another question, throw it at me. See you tomorrow.